Keep your crummy soul.
Gunter, who told you you could fly? Huh? No one sucks the life from my penguins except me! And maybe polar bears.
Take a second to think about the life you've lived, the people you've connected with, and the choices you've made. Use this time to think about yourself. Who really are you? If you've been a good person, you'd think of yourself fondly. You would be glad over who you are, I'd think. Now, take everything I just said, and imagine you lost all of it. Your friends and family, and then slowly but surely, you lose yourself. This is what happened to a man by the name of Simon Petrikov, or as casual watchers of Adventure Time know him, the Ice King. Today I want to look into the life of Simon, or the Ice King, and talk about the struggles of forgetting everything you know. My name is Stevie King, and welcome to the first ever episode of Nostalgiaology. Simon Petrikov, later to be known as Ice King, was a student studying in antiquaries, whatever the fuck, a specialization in the knowledge of ancient artifacts. While he was studying in the field, he met his fiancée, Betty. He is most likely European, guessing by his name and skin tone, but by the American license plates we can see throughout the show, we can guess they are somewhere in America, if Earth is even the same as it is in the real world to begin with. Simon had become a professor of archaeology, and after an expedition, he had discovered an ancient text of heroes, the Enchiridion, a book with magical powers that stem to even having the power to travel people beyond different universes and timelines. But that's a whole can of worms for a different story and time. Simon had grown recognition after finding this, as we see newspaper clippings reading, "Simon Petrikov unearths ancient treasure." At some point in Simon's career, he would find himself in northern Scandinavia, where he would purchase a strange jeweled crown from a dock worker. Little did he know that this crown would be the thing that would ruin Simon's life for thousands of years on end. After returning home to Betty, he showed her the crown, and in an attempt to make the woman he loved smile, he made the biggest mistake of his life. Hours passed after he put on the crown. He couldn't remember anything, but all he knew was that Betty was gone. All he remembered was the voices and visions around him. As he shouted and cursed at them, he realized it was the crown, and all the shouting and fighting was inflicted upon his fiancée. Simon had no recollection of exactly what he had said or done while wearing the crown, though it was enough to ruin his relationship, as Simon never heard or saw Betty ever again, and began to record himself on VHS tape so people would know of his story.
I want people to know that if I do things that hurt anyone, please forgive me.
After the Mushroom War, which is also a topic to be discussed some other time, most people Simon had known had passed away at this point, and the crown had sunken deeper within Simon's mind, but he had still fought back and for the most part was his normal Simon self. While traveling through a destroyed city, Simon would run into a young girl by the name of Marceline, a half-demon girl that he quickly cheers up and starts to take care of. Simon and Marcy's friendship is one of the greatest things from the show, as we see glimpses and one time get a full episode dedicated to see them survive in the apocalypse. In the short time we have seen Simon, we see him caring for Marcy like a daughter, keeping her safe, but slowly going through the years as he used the crown more and more to fight off the threats and mutants, Simon's mind was being corrupted. And we see this in the episode Simon and Marcy, where after putting on the crown, he frees a deer, not stopping after seeing it. As Marceline tries to stop him, he continues, calling her Gunther, what he would name his pet penguin thousands of years later. So there's a tie to that somewhere. He tells Marceline to play in the snow, continuing on his frozen rampage before
I'm sorry, Marcy.
Simon!
Dun, da 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 dun dun. Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't it be nice to get away? Where everybody knows your name. Where everybody...
a few years later, and we learn of Simon leaving Marceline as his mind has almost fully succumbed to the crown's influence. Before this, he somehow, unknowingly, contacted Marceline's biological father, the demon Hudson Abadir, into the land of Oo from the Nidosphere. He did this in an attempt to arrange a new caretaker for Marceline in his place, someone who he believed would not leave in the matter he did. The next time they met would be over 1,000 years later, after he loses his memories of her. I think the Adventure Time wiki fan page really says this next part best. A big thanks to them for a lot of the information I didn't pick up on or just didn't know, like Marceline's father being contacted by Simon when I was watching the show. But here's a paragraph from it.
As time passed, Simon began to lose his mind as he began to wear the crown, deteriorating in both mind and body over the years into his current state. His condition worsened after his fiancée Betty had lingered in his mind, which played a role in his subconscious need for princesses. As his mind and body became further twisted by the crown, Simon thought himself too far gone to find an escape from its influence. Though he hoped that he could one day regain his sanity enough so that Betty, his princess, would come back and love him again. He is no longer considered a human. The power of the crown not only twists his mind, but his body as well.
I could have tried to write something for my own, for this, but I think it would have came out the same, but just kind of worse. Also, I'm lazy. This is just an amazing way to explain this from the people over at the wiki, so big thumbs up to the writer of this paragraph. The crown changes Simon into a different person. One that is disconnected from empathy, relying on his power to feel wanted and included. Ice King starts the show attacking our heroes, Finn and Jake, kidnapping them and a handful of princesses in a sad attempt to have them as friends and family. Something that, as Simon changed and pushed people away, he had lost. Ice King wants nothing more than for people to like him, because the last semblance of Simon will never have that again. People who love him. His mind is so twisted and delusional that he feels committing terrible acts and kidnapping is the one way he'll find happiness. And as the show goes on, he becomes less of the antagonist and more of the tragic hero turned lonely old man. And as everyone around him starts to try to forgive him, as they realize the man before them isn't some evildoer, he's just a mentally ill victim of his own self. He stops kidnapping people. He stops trying to freeze heroes. He stops taking pieces of women to make a Frankenstein's monster. Yeah, this show got pretty fucking weird, I'm not gonna lie. He just starts to hang around our protagonists. He shows love and compassion to them and the people around him, and actively help when he can, or wants to. Building new relationships with people and fixing the one with Marcy, as he doesn't even remember her. He can never be himself again. The Crown made sure of it. But when others refer to him as Simon within earshot, he is generally confused or just ignores it, but he is trying to fix himself. In the episode I Remember You, Ice King visits Marceline in her cave, where she is both annoyed but glad with him being around. Now, this episode is one of my favorites and holds two of my favorite songs from the show, them being Nuts and, as the episode is called, I Remember You, which I wish I could play here, but for copyright reasons I can't. But I can explain them. The first song Marcy sings is Nuts, where she debates herself on her conflicting feelings for Ice King, knowing he used to be the kind man who cared for her for years, and that isn't the first time he's found her. But he always acts like, well, Ice King, which hurts her to see. But she keeps trying to grow closer to the new man as he pushes her away subconsciously with his antics, never being able to remember their old life. The second song, in my opinion, is one of the best in the show, I Remember You. It's sung from old letters Simon wrote while he cared for Marceline, thinking they were lyrics in his crazy state. Ice King asks her to start singing, thinking they're just normal lyrics, and as Marcy does, she begins to tear up, hearing what she always wanted. Closure she never got when Simon left. Again, I recommend listening to this amazing song. I'll have a link to both of them in the description. But this song shows Simon really coming to grips with the loss of his sanity, realizing he must leave Marcy behind before he does something terrible. And as Ice King doesn't even understand what he's singing about, he gets a look on his face of pure, horrified confusion. A break in the Crown's hold that seals itself within seconds as him and Marcy sing together. Tears streaming down Marcy's face as she realizes that she'll never see the man that she once knew. And that's the point where the direction of Ice King had changed from an evil old wizard to a man who had everything taken away from him and couldn't even comprehend the fact that he did. We saw Simon return to his former self only twice, but the first time is such a fever dream, I want to talk about the second time. In the gut of Glob, a god in the Adventure Time universe. Not talking about it, fuck you. Simon was brought back to his basic form, fully disconnected from the Crown's hold on him. Long story, again. I'm not talking about it right now. But after this, in the last episode, we see him with Marcy and Bubblegum just living. He's mortal again and will die when his time is right. But he's happy that he had his memories back. He's in control again, and for the first time in over 1,000 years, he's happy. We saw him in the 40-minute episode Distant Lands Obsidian, a story about Marceline's and Bubblegum's relationship that takes place a couple of years after, well, actually like a decade after the last episode, Come Along With Me, of Adventure Time. And in this 40-minute episode, we see Ice King a few times, and one of the times he's wearing his Ice King clothes, minus the real crown, and he says it's to cope, implying he remembers everything from the crown and needs to cope with the trauma of what he did while being the Ice King. I'm not sure if it's the healthiest way, but it seems to help him, so to each their own, I guess. A little content warning before this next part. It's about to get real, like not the land of ooh real. So if you don't want to deal with that, skip to this timestamp and you'll go back to the Adventure Time stuff. You've been warned. Let me return you to the idea in the beginning of the video. You slowly lose not only the memories of your life, but also slowly forget what made you you. You are a whole different person, and the people around you ignore you for the more caring ideal of you. And you stand there oblivious to what they're even talking about. Dementia is a term for the impaired ability to remember, think, or make decisions. The different types usually all end up with interfering with your cognitive skills and memory. The most common type of dementia is Alzheimer's, but we're talking in a more general way here, I guess. Dementia is caused by a group of things, like Alzheimer's, and most likely you've met or known someone with the infliction. It's a scary thing to slowly lose your cognitive understanding of the world. It's scary to forget. You wish to remember the faces of loved ones and the names of your friends and you as a person. And losing all that is something that can be eerie. So I bring you once more to the idea that I spoke of at the beginning of the video. Imagine you forget everything about your life and yourself. Are you even yourself after that? Or are you a different person? Sure, it's your body and brain, but when you don't act like yourself, is it really, truly you? In the end, Simon Petrikov is, in my opinion, one of the most interesting characters in kids' show history. And I believe he perfectly represents the show as a whole. Because as I was young, I thought he was just another goofy little villain for you to dislike. But as I grew older and the show continued, I saw the man be given more story, more personality. I saw the world around him become more mature as I did. And you know, I think that of itself is a beautiful thing to remember. So thanks everyone for watching the video. It took me a while to put this together, and I don't know, I really love this show, you know? I grew up with it, and it was nice to talk about one of my favorite characters. He was handled very well, I feel, until the very end, which even then, he's probably the best thing to come out of that part. Thank you so much to the team of the Adventure Time Wiki fandom for so much of the fucking background info that just, I guess I missed or something, that they saw. The team spends so much time making sure they get every detail correct, and it's honestly wonderful. Also, thank you to my brother for lending his voice for the paragraph, and a huge thanks to Pendleton Ward for even making this amazing show. All the links to everything you'll need will be in the description below. Make sure to like and comment, as that really helps the growth of my channel. And if you like me as a person, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss uploads. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.